Sir, please start.
Yes, good afternoon, students. Today we are going to start portion of law relating to employees. So we are going to start with the Factories Act 1948 that is scheduled for today's class. So we are starting with this Factories Act 1948. It's a central act made by the parliament to regulate the working conditions of factories in India. This act provides various provisions regarding working condition, working hours, like for how many working hours can be there at a stretch, and in a week a person can worker can work for how many days, holidays, overtime payment, employment of children in the factories, employment of women in the factory, employment of young persons in the factory, safety condition, health condition, hazardous conditions. They all tell you and about the welfare of the employees, welfare of the workers employed in a factory. The main objective of the act is not only to ensure safety measures, adequate safety measures, but also to promote health, welfare of the workers. Like they always say, ki like you need to provide ventilated workers wherever the workers are working. That room should be ventilated one. Okay, so there should be it should be safe. There should be safe working condition. Like if you're working in a factory, then machines should be proper fastened. Okay, it should not be like a worker is working in a factory and machine falls on him. It should not be there. Okay, so this act has been amended a lot of time. Uh, Before this 1948, we had this Factories Act 1934, which was revised, and in the year 1985, after the Bhopal gas tragedy, many safety conditions. It was found that the at that time the Factories Act was having certain you can say issues. So relating to lacunas relating to safety standards. So that was also the Factories Act 1948 was amended consequent to that. So now we are coming to that where this Factory Act is applicable. It is applicable on which type of factories? So it says it is applicable to factories where 10 or more workers are employed or were employed. Okay. So they simply say if on any day of the preceding 12 months, if any day of the preceding 12 months, 10 or more workers were working in a factory, 10 or more workers were working in a factory in which some manufacturing process is being carried on with the aid of power. By power, they basically consider what like machines are moving with power. It is not general lighting. Okay, it is not general lighting. It is like machines are working on power. If this is the state that in a place, at a place, if some manufacturing process is being carried on and more than 10 or more people are 10 or more workers are working on any day in the preceding 12 months, then that place is considered as factory as per this act. Okay, and that place act is applicable on those factories. And if 20 or more workers are working without the aid of power, if 20 or more people, more workers are working without the aid of power, then this act will be applicable. Factories Act 1948 will be applicable. It's a big act. It has 120 sections, 3 schedules attached to it. We are discussing in today's session, we are discussing the main, you can say the concepts relating to Factories Act 1948. That like what is the object of this act? Objectives, among the various objectives of this act. The main objective is what? That the conditions of work at manufacturing places must be a good one. It should be safe for the workers to work over there. So this act is objectives of this act are to regulate the condition of work in manufacturing establishment coming within the definition of term factory as is used in this act. This act is applicable to whole of India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It came into force on 1st April 1949. It came into force on 1st April 1949. Act is called Factories Act 1948 and applicable to whole of India. And it came into force on 1st April 1949. So now we will see various definitions given in the Act. The definitions are contained in section 2. No doubt the clause numbers are also there, but you need not learn all the clause numbers. Whatsoever are important that I'll tell you during the class itself. So first of all, there is definition of adult. So in common parlance, what we generally say, a person who has completed 18th year of age, that person is called adult. In the same manner, it is given in this act itself. Like adult means a person who has completed his 18th year of age. That person is adult. It's not an important definition. Then there is adolescent. Adolescent means a person who has completed 15th year of his age, but has not completed his 18th year. Okay, so a person. So basically, if we are saying a person who is older than 15 years, who is older than or equal to 15 years, whose age is greater than, I should write in this manner, I think so, or equal to 15 years, but less than 18, that person is called adolescent. Even adolescents can work in factories. There is no prohibition on that. No doubt, certain rules of the factories regarding payment of wages and this leave, these differ for them. Okay, we will study them in later on. Then we have calendar year. Calendar year means the period of 12 months beginning with the first day of January in any year. Okay, so like Georgian calendar, they follow the Georgian calendar as we take it in the Journal Clauses Act. You guys must be aware about one act. There is one act, that is Journal Clauses Act 1897. That act basically gives you the definitions which are basically used in various central acts. Okay, so in case that act is there to shorten the language of the central acts, like if in every law the lawmakers need to explain the terms like year, okay, like day, so then it will take a lot of their time, as well as it will lengthen those central acts. So that's why there is one act that is called the Journal Clauses Act 1897. So calendar year, this act has given the definitions, and those definitions are almost similar to Journal Clauses Act 1897. So calendar year means a period of 12 months beginning with the first day of January in any year. Child, who is a child? Child means a person who has not completed his 15th year of age. Under the Factories Act, even the children can be employed. Okay. Children below the age of 14 cannot be employed in factories. That is the law. But if there is a person who is of say 14 and a half years, okay, so that person is a children, that person is a child, but that person can be employed in factories. Okay, there are certain rules, definitely those are different for children. We will discuss that. Then we have competent person. Competent person in relation to any provision of this act means a person or an institution. It may be a person or it may be an institution that is recognized by chief inspector for the purpose of carrying. There is one post of chief inspector of factories. So chief inspector, if chief inspector has authorized, has recognized some institution, some person for the purpose of carrying out tests, for the purpose of some inspections, for the purpose of examinations to be done in various factories under his jurisdiction, then that person is called competent person. And under the provision of this act, having regard to that, what that person can check, they will check the qualifications, they will check the experience of the persons and the facilities available at his disposal. Like they will check whether the factories, the persons employed in the factories are duly qualified for the job, or the persons are having the requisite experience. Whether the, if a person is saying, if an occupier means owner of the factory, you can say for the time being, if an occupier is saying that I have employed this qualified people on this particular job, then you need to check, then they can check, competent persons can check whether the employed person is in reality qualified for that, or the person is having the requisite experience, and whether the facilities that should be there, safety standard that should be there at the factories, whether those are in reality available or these are available simply on paper. So these people can check the qualification and experience of the persons employed in such institution and facilities available therein with regard to the conduct of the test, how they are conducting test examinations. Okay, so for that also the act has provided the provisions. Then we have hazardous process. As the name depicts, hazardous process means any process or any activity in relation to an industry that is specified in first schedule. First schedule, they have specified where special care is required to be taken, where the raw material or the work in progress is such, or the finished good is like such, that may be dangerous for the people to handle. Okay, so I'm reading the definition from the book itself. Like hazardous process means any process or any activity in relation to an industry specified in first schedule, where unless special care is taken, raw material used therein or intermediate or finished goods, byproducts, waste, effluents thereof would cause, if not properly handled, unless special care is taken, if we don't take special care, then what will happen? The raw material, such type of raw material, work in progress, intermediate goods, finished goods, byproducts, effluents, waste are happening over that place, that would cause material impairment, nuksan. This means nuksan, material impairment to the health of the persons employed in these establishments or in connected with, herewith, or result in pollution of general environment. So these types of processes are called hazardous processes. So we can't employ children. You can't employ children in hazardous processes or women in children processes. There are rules for that. Then we have young person. What we mean by young person? Young person means a person who is either a child or adolescent. I told you, a person up to the age of 15, a person who has not completed 15 years of age is a child, and a person who has completed whose age is person whose age is what? It is younger than 18 years. Younger than 18 years, this means that person is not an adult, but not is an adult, not an adult, and his age is greater than or equal to 15 years. So these persons are called what? These are called adolescent. So child and adolescent both are covered in young person. So there are special provisions for young person under the Factories Act 1948 that we will study later on. Day again, day definition as we use in common parlance. Day means a period of 24 hours, beginning at the midnight. Okay, so beginning at the midnight day. Then what we mean by week as per this Factories Act 1948? Week means a period of 7 days. We already know there's 7 days period. But the thing is, it is beginning at midnight on Saturday night. Beginning at midnight on Saturday night or such other night as may be approved in writing for a particular area by the chief inspector of factories. So he need to declare it. He may declare it different day, different start of the week for different areas. He has the power to do so. Then power. Once we say power, in simple language, in layman language, we say it electricity. But we use power in the factories act only if the machines are running with the, you can say, electricity. Okay, so power means electrical energy or any other form of energy which is mechanically transmitted and not generated by human or animal agency. Okay, so the energy which is being generated through any means, any which is transmitted, mechanically transmitted. Okay, so it may be thermal power, it may be, you can say, hydel power, it may be any power, thermal, hydel, nuclear, whatsoever. It may be wind power, it may be anything, but not generated by human or like animal agency. Okay, so वहां पे कई जगह पे होता है ना, एनिमल से वो कुएं के इर्द गिर्द चलते हैं एंड उससे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, वो नहीं हमने इसमें लेना. And then we have prime mover. Mover means any engine, motor, or other appliance which generates or otherwise provides power. Prime mover, that is generator basically in case of electricity companies or electricity generation companies, or any engine, motor which is used, which generates or provides power. Machinery, machinery means prime movers, transmission machinery that is used to transmit electricity or all other appliances whereby power is generated, transformed, transmitted or applied. Okay, so you guys need not learn these definitions particularly. This power you need to learn. Okay, power you need to learn, but not this prime mover. And again, these are very simple definition. Young person you need to learn, young person. Okay, then hazardous process, you need to understand hazardous process. And before that, what you need to, actually the ticks are same. So what you, these are the definition that adult, adolescent, child, these you need to learn. So I'll basically rub this one, erase this one, that will help you. Wherever I have made the ticks, these definition you guys need to learn, that you need to learn. Then we have factory, the most important definition under the Factories Act 1948, that is factory. Factory means any premises including the precincts thereof. Precincts means a place basically which is bounded by some walls, some sort of. I have given it in detail later on as well. So factory means a premises. Factory means any premises where 10 or more, whereon 10 or more workers are working or were working on any day. Even if persons were working for a single day on that place, that is considered as factory. If that is considered as a factory if other conditions are fulfilled. Whereon 10 or more workers are working or were working on any day or any day of the preceding 12 months, or in any part of which a manufacturing process is being carried on with the aid of power. With the aid of power, if we are using power to manufacture, if we are using power in a manufacturing process, then and that place is employing 10 or more workers, then that place is called factory. Or whereon 20 or more workers are working or were working. This is with the aid of power, 10 people are sufficient, 10 or more people are sufficient. But if we are working without the aid of power, then it is 20 or more persons. Then it is 20 or more workers. Okay, you need to write, don't write person. Even I am using word person, don't write person. You need to write word worker. 10 or more worker, 20 or more worker. This is with the aid of power, and this is without the aid of power. Without the aid of power. These are the two keywords that you need to learn for this, you can say, word factory. Factory means a premises including a precincts thereof. Okay, so these are the keywords that you need to learn, but does not include what the law says. These will not be treated as a factory, but does not include a mine. We will not include mines subject to the operation of Mines Act, which are covered under Mines Act 1952, or a mobile unit belonging to armed forces of the Union. We will not take, or a railway running shed, or a hotel, restaurant, or eating place. These will not be treated as factory. Okay, so these will not be treated as factory. So now, for computing the number of workers for the purpose of this clause, all the workers in different group, like if we have, once we count this, we need to include child, like persons who are of 14 years of age, but less than 15 or up to 15, then adolescent, okay, adolescent, the persons who have completed 15th years of age but are less than 18 years, and adults, male, female, and even if some enterprise is employing some children that are below 14 years of age, for this purpose, for this clause purpose, we need to include all the workers in the different groups. Okay, all. No doubt you will say that children below the age of 14 cannot be employed in factories. That is there. But if someone has employed it, so we need to include this for consideration of the meaning of factory or not. We should. And relay in a day, that is shifts, like a factory may be working on many shifts na. So in it is not that 20 people, 10 people are working at a time. It is not written in the act. They simply say 20 persons on a day. 20, 10 or more persons are working or were working on any day. This is written in the law. It is not at any time. It is any day of the preceding 12 months. So therefore, for computing the number of workers, we need to consider what? We need to consider all the workers in different groups, and in all the shifts in a day, we need to consider that. Then we have, for the purposes of this clause, the mere fact that an electronic data processing unit, you guys are aware about the electronic data processing unit, like computers are being used basically to process the data. The mere fact that an electronic data processing unit or a computer unit is installed in any premises or part thereof shall not be construed to make it a factory if no manufacturing process is being carried on. Simply, if the people are working using electronic data processing, but they are not manufacturing anything, then that will not be considered as a factory. So to consider factory, it doesn't matter basically you are using electronic data processing or not. But if these people are engaged and some manufacturing process is being carried on in such premises or part thereof, then that will be considered as a factory. So, so most important definition of the Factories Act 1948 is factory. So we are covering it again. So thus, in order to be termed as a factory, what is required? 10 or more workers are or were working on any day of the preceding 12 months, and manufacturing process is being carried out with the aid of power. In case manufacturing process is carried on without the aid of power, then at least 20 or more workers are or were working, just a second, are or were working on any day during the preceding 12 months. Mines which are covered under Mines Act, mobile unit of armed forces of the Union, railway running shed, hotel, restaurant, eating place, these will not be considered as factory. These are not to be treated as factory. Precincts, I told. Precincts means a place that is enclosed by wall. There must be some wall. Na? If there is otherwise, that will become a land. That will not be called, you can say, precincts. That will not be called premises. Okay. So there are certain case laws on that will explain you this concept of factories what we mean by factory, the concept of factory. So there are certain cases we are discussing one by one. First one is Employee State Insurance Corporation, ESI. No, there is one act that is called Employee State Insurance Act. We will study that act as well. So Employee State Insurance there is one corporation under the act, that is Employee State Insurance Corporation. It is basically there to cover the factory workers. Okay. So Employee State Insurance Corporation and Jalandhar Gymkhana Club, unka case hai that the preparation of food and drinks in the kitchen that is attached to a club, that is attached to Gymkhana Club, and the preservation and storing of articles in cold storage would be a manufacturing process. They say this is a manufacturing process. Manufacturing process is defined under it is defined under section 2K of the Factories Act. This you need to learn. Okay. So it will come later on. So what sections? Some persons were asking that which sections we need to learn. So manufacturing process. This is the section that you need to learn. Section 2, clause K. This is manufacturing process. You need to learn. Then there is definition of factory. What we mean by word factory, that is defined under section 2M. So these are two sections till now that you guys need to remember. You need to learn. Otherwise, there are many sections in that. Definitely you can't learn. I told you, na, that sections in Indian Contract Act 1872, in Sale of Goods Act, in Partnership Act, in Negotiable Instrument Act. Some sections are important. Most of the sections, rather, they have many sections that you need to learn. But in case of particularly the labor laws, I say it, labor laws relating to labor, employees, workers, laws relating to employees. There are many laws. You simply need to learn the crux of these act, what these laws want, what is the crux of these laws, what are the main provision of these laws, and you need to learn a few definition. Basically go through many definition, but you need to learn sections of very few definitions. Okay, so till now you need to learn only two sections out from this Factories Act 1948, and even very few case laws like this case law you need to learn. Okay, like Employee State Insurance Corporation versus Jalandhar Gymkhana Club. That if food items are being prepared or drinks are being served in the kitchen that is attached to a club. So, and the food items are being preserved in the cold storage within that club, whether it amounts to manufacturing activity or not. The law says yes, it was held in the judgment that it is a manufacturing process within the meaning of section 2K, and therefore it also follows that the premises of the club is a factory within meaning of section 2M of the Factories Act. Okay, so this is important one that you guys need to learn. Second case law is on VP Gopala Rao versus Public Prosecutor Andhra Pradesh. It has judgment of Supreme Court. It says it is again an important judgment because this will help you in manufacturing process as well. Like what they say, sun-cured tobacco leaves were subjected to process of moistening, stripping, and packing in company's premises. Basically, this activity is being done, moistening, stripping, and this packing in the company's premises. Why? Because after this processing, they will transport this material to company's main factory for manufacturing cigarettes. So where more than 20 people were working under the supervision of the management within the premises, it was held that the manufacturing process was carried on in the premises and it's a factory. So this judgment will help you in explaining two terms. One is again manufacturing process, and secondly, you will use this in factory in explaining the factory as well. So this thing you need to learn. So the second definition. Third one is again, these are important one, na? So you may learn 1, 2, 3 as per your choice. But basically, sometime they put a case study in the examination then you will be able to answer only once you remember the case law. So that is the problem. So therefore, try to learn the case laws whatsoever has been discussed here. Uh, there is a case law like Dr. PSS Sundar Rao versus Inspector of Factories Vellore. What was the case? There was a hospital with the name Christian Medical College, CMC College and Hospital, Vellore. And to ensure safety or high hygienic conditions in the hospital, what they did, they started a laundry unit within the hospital. Okay. So what happened? Madras High Court held that the laundry run by the hospital cannot be separated from the main institution. No doubt, it appears to be a manufacturing process. It appears to be a factory, but the thing is, hospital is not a factory. Hospital is not a not a factory, and the laundry unit was attached to hospital. It's a very part of this hospital. In order to ensure high degree of hygienic standard, the hospital is having its own laundry for washing the linen used in the hospital. Therefore, laundry is only a subsidiary unit. You can say it's a minor unit. It's a incidental establishment of the hospital, which is a main unit. So, which is not a factory, which is not a factory. Hospital is not a factory. Hospital is not a factory. So, question was whether the laundry unit should be held as factory or not. And the judgment was it should not be held as factory because this laundry unit was just what it was, subsidiary, minor or incidental establishment of the hospital, and hospital is not a factory. So one department of the hospital established for efficient functioning of the hospital cannot therefore be disjoined from the main institution and be termed to be a factory. The paramount or primary character of the main institution alone. This is a very important judgment that the paramount or primary character of the main institution alone has to be taken into consideration. And when the main institution is not a factory, a department of this institution cannot become so, even though a manufacturing process is carried on there. So manufacturing process, if you say like manufacturing process is going on there or not, yes, it is going on there. But as main, what we need to see, we need to see the main institution. When the main institution is not a factory, a department thereof cannot become a factory when main institution is not a factory. That thing you need to learn, that this was held in this case. Then there is one more judgment, that is BBMB, Bhakra Vyas Management Board. Okay, BBMB, Bhakra Vyas Management Board, and Employee State Insurance Corporation. In that judgment, it was held that the substation, like they are electricity, generating electricity, that substation of petitioner electricity board did not satisfy the definition of factory, as no manufacturing process is being carried on them. No manufacturing process is carried on them. So therefore, it will not be treated as factory. There is one more case, that is KVV Sharma, where the conversion of raw films into finished production. Like first of all, the people they are clicking photographs and then they will convert it into a film. So raw films, there are raw films and they will convert that raw films into finished production. It was held to be a manufacturing process. Yes, this is a manufacturing process. So these judgments will help you in explaining two most important terms. One is manufacturing process and second is factory in this act. Then we have shift. What we means by shift? You guys are aware in many businesses, particularly in factories, the works are executed in shifts. Shift means where work of same kind is carried on by two or more set of workers. Like we have set of workers, one are coming from 8 in the morning to 2, others are coming from 2 in the morning. Okay, they are coming from You can say 2 and they are working till 10. So like in this manner, we may have different shifts. So shift means where work of same kind is carried on, where work of same kind is carried on by two or more set of workers working during different period of the day. Each of such set is called a group or relay, and each of such period is called what? It is called a shift. Okay, so they are working in different relays, they are working in different shifts. Okay, so now I'm coming to definition of manufacturing process. I told you we need to learn these two definition, factory 2M and then manufacturing process, that is 2K. So now we are covering the section 2 clause K. So what is this? Manufacturing process means any process for making, altering, repairing, ornamenting, finishing, packing, oiling, washing, cleaning, breaking up, demolishing, or otherwise treating, adopting any article or substance with a view to its use, sale, transport, delivery, or disposal. So if we are doing any sort of activity like making, altering, repairing, ornamenting, finishing, just making, altering, repairing, ornamenting, finishing, packing, oiling, washing. You need not learn all these words. Okay. I know it is tough for you guys to learn these words for examination purpose, but write a few out of them. Okay. Code the section, write a few words out of this. Then pumping oil, water, sewage, or any other substance. This is again manufacturing process. Generation, transmission, distribution of power, or composing types for printing. Like in every printing job, now we find composing is a very important part. So composing types for printing by letterpress, lithography, photograph, or any similar process, or book binding. These are all again manufacturing process. Constructing, reconstructing, repairing, refitting, finishing, breaking up ships, breaking up ships. If you are breaking up some vessels, ships, that is also considered as a manufacturing process. Preserving, storing any article in the cold storage that we studied in case of this Gymkhana Club, na? Like preserving or storing any article in cold storage, that is also considered as a manufacturing process. So these processes, there are some processes which have been held, like there are judgment on that to be manufacturing process. We have discussed these things in above cases, but still I'll repeat it again. Like sun cured tobacco leaves subjected to the process of moistening, stripping, breaking up, adaptation, packing. Why? With a view to transport to the main factory, with a view to transport to the main factory of the company, where they will be used for, where these things will be used for what? Manufacturing cigarette. So this is the case of, we as we discussed in the case of this VP Gopala Rao versus Public Prosecutor Andhra Pradesh case. Then we have operation of peeling, washing of prawns for putting them in cold storage. This is also again considered as what? Manufacturing process. Stitching old gunny babes. Stitching old gunny babes. You will find them in many factories, particularly in warehouses. There are many gunny bags, and those gunny bags are torn and they are stitched. So stitching old gunny bags is also an activity of, you can say, manufacturing. And work of garbling of pepper or curing ginger. This is also process carried out in salt works in converting seawater into salt. This is again a manufacturing process. The work done on bangles of cutting grooves in them, like people make grooves in them and after that they fill some different color material in that so as to make the bangles beautiful. Okay, so the work done on bangles of cutting grooves in them and which later would be filled with coloring is clearly a stage in ornamentation. You are doing ornamentation. I told you no. The activity of ornamenting is also what? It is also what? It is also treated as a manufacturing process. Manufacturing process. Then preparation of soap in soap works, making of BDs, making of cigarettes, raw film used in preparation of movies is an article or substance. And when by the process of tracing, adapting, after the sounds are absorbed and the photos imprinted, it is rendered fit to be screened in a cinema theaters. So पहले तो क्या होती हैं? First of all, तो that is raw films, na? Once you add music in that, once you add sound in that, and then such a thing, such a change would come within the meaning of the term treating or adapting any article, treating or adapting an article with a view to its use. Okay, so that is a manufacturing process. We studied one case of Mr. KK Sharma, KV Sharma, KV Sharma case. So you can relate this case law as well. Then composing is considered as a very important part of any printing process, any job, and it is also a manufacturing process. Preparation of food and beverages that we studied in Jalandhar Gymkhana and it's sold to members of the club, it is considered as a manufacturing process. Receiving products in bulk, then packing it in as per the requirement of the customers, that is also a manufacturing process. Construction of railway use of raw material like sleepers, bolts, loose rails to adaptation of their use for ultimately being the laying down for railway line. That is also, you can say, is a manufacturing process. Then we have worker. What is the meaning of word worker? Worker means a person that is employed directly or by or through any agency that is employed directly or by or through any agency, including a contractor. If we have employed a person through contractor, if we have employed some employees through contractor into our factory, so that will be considered as within the definition of our worker. Okay, it doesn't matter that you have not employed them directly, but those workers are working under in your factory only, na? So you are the principal employer. You will be treated as principal employer for those workers. So worker means a person that is employed directly or through an agency with or without the knowledge of principal employer. Principal employer cannot say that I was not aware that this worker was working in my factory. It doesn't matter. Law says it doesn't matter with or without the knowledge of the principal employer. And whether for remuneration or not, even if the person is not getting remuneration, the person, if say a person has an accident has happened in the factory and due to lack of safety conditions, the accident has happened and the person was working over there and the employer says, you just check that person was not our worker because we have not paid anything to him till now. Okay, so by that you are not going, the occupier of the factory, the owner of the factory is not going to you be spared from this liability just on the cause that no remuneration is being paid. The worker was working for free. You can't, that person is worker. Worker means a person that is employed directly, or that may be employed through some contractor, some agency, with or without the knowledge of the principal employer, whether for some remuneration or not, in any manufacturing process or in cleaning any part of machinery or premises used for manufacturing process, or in any other kind of work which is incidental to or connected with the manufacturing process or subject to the manufacturing process, but does not include any member of armed forces of the union. This person will not be treated as, because act is basically not applicable on them. So it will not be treated as a worker. Otherwise, worker means a person who is employed in the factory, who is employed in any manufacturing process, whether directly or it has been employed through some agency, whether with the knowledge of the principal employer or not, principal employer is not having any knowledge, whether on remuneration or not for remuneration. But the simply thing is the person has been employed in manufacturing process or any incidental activity, then that person will be considered as worker. Then we have definition of word occupier. What we mean by word occupier in Factories Act. Occupier is the person who has ultimate control over the affairs of any factory. Okay, over the affairs of the factory, that person is called the occupier. He is called the manager of the factory. He is called the owner of the factory. The person who is ultimately responsible for all the activities that are taking place in the factory. The occupier of the factory is the one who owns the business. Who owns the business? He is solely responsible for all the things in the factory. He is responsible for various compliances. Occupier is answerable for all the things that are happening in the premises, all the rules and regulations that has been set by him. First of all, these rules are required to be approved. These are required to be vetted. Okay, made okay. That is first approved by the state government or the chief inspector of factories. So basically it is done by the chief inspector of factories. So whatsoever rules are being made in a factory, those rules are sent to chief inspector of factories and they approve the rules. Only then the occupier can apply those rules. This is important definition. So occupier, what general duties has been entrusted on the occupier under the Factories Act? These are as follows. That is to ensure and ensure, he need to ensure and he need to ensure the safety and health of working employees. Whosoever is working in the factory, whether that is an adolescent, male, female, whosoever is working in your factory, to ensure their safety and health, it is primary responsibility of every occupier. They need to ensure regular maintenance of the plant and machinery that is being used in the factory. It is their duty that machines and plant and machinery should get proper maintenance. This regulates that there are no health risks to the workers and they are safe. Okay, they are safe. To ensure the proper arrangement in the factory for any emergency, like if a fire, you can say, a fire take place in some factory. So for that also to ensure the safety of the workers during any such contingencies, it is also the responsibility of the occupier that these things should not take place. And if God forbid, if these things happen in the factory, then what will be the emergency plans, how to look after that, that is also done by the occupier. He must communicate the risk factors to the working employees. Okay, it is his duty to ensure that whatsoever hazardous condition or processes are there, it be informed to the workers working in the factory. Also provide them with detailed instructions and training under his supervision. It is again his responsibility that whosoever workers are working in the factory on the machine, they have knowledge of those machines. They know how to handle them. They have proper training on them. There must be maintenance of healthy environment in the workspace. This involves places of work to provide the workers with the safety measures. Proper drinking water should be there. Proper safety conditions should be there. Health uh, should be taken into consideration. There must be proper arrangement for the safety of the working employees. Hence, this will help the employees to work peacefully without any pressure. His duty is that he need to ensure that no employment is given or employees or not to employ any child worker. Once I say child worker, I mean below 14 years of age. Below 14 years of age. This is his duty to ensure. And providing timely wages, overtime payment to workers. This is also the responsibility of the, you can say, this employer of occupier. This is the duty of the occupier. So section 2N gives the definition of occupier. So now we have studied basically three definitions that you guys need to learn. Number one was factory. Second was manufacturing process 2K, factory 2M. And now we have this occupier, that is 2N. So this is the definition given in the Act. Basically, we have studied most of the features of this definition, but still we need to go through it once. After that, I'll be covering the main aspects required under the Factories Act 1948. That will be an interesting portion. And now we are studying the definition part that is usually very boring, but you guys need to see that. Okay, because in exam, definitely they may ask some questions on definitions as well. So occupier of a factory means a person who has ultimate control over the affairs of factory, I told you, provided that in case of a firm or other association of individuals, that is other body. If we have some body, some association, some firm, then any one of the individual partners shall be deemed to be the occupier. Okay, any one of the individual partners shall be deemed to be occupier. This means practically they want to say that all the partners in the firm, if the business is run by a firm, then all the partners of the firm will practically be called occupier. They have the responsibilities of occupier. Next, in case of a company, any one of the directors shall be deemed to be the occupier. So the companies usually declare it in the form that they declare that this person will be called the occupier for the purposes of our factory. And in case of a factory that is owned, controlled by central government or any other state government or local authority, the person whosoever has been appointed, the person who has been appointed to manage the affairs of the factory by that central government, state government or local authority, that person shall be deemed to be called the occupier. Then we have this concept in case of ships which are being in the dock for repair or for maintenance. For that, they have given some special definition. Like for these things, we will treat the owner of the dock as you can say occupier, and for some activity they treat the owner of the ship or his agent as the occupier. Okay, the condition is that the ship is being repaired. There is a ship. If there is a ship that is being repaired, why it is being repaired? It is being repaired for maintenance, where maintenance work is going on in a dry dock. Then what is the meaning of? Then who is occupier in this case? For some activities, they have identified that owner of the dock will be treated as occupier, and for some activities, they say who will be treated as an that is owner of the ship, not owner of the dock. ऊपर था ऑनर ऑफ द डॉक, यहाँ पे क्या है ऑनर ऑफ द शिप will be treated as occupier. You need not study it in detail. Simply you need to understand the concept that in case of ship, if a ship is under repair maintenance, then who will be the in a dry dock, then who will be the occupier for it? For some activities it is the owner of the dock, and for some activities it is owner of the ship. Now we are going to study the important provision of the Factories Act 1948. Okay, so basically you guys need to be aware about 3-4 definitions and then about these important provision, and this is all for you in the Factories Act 1948. So we are studying now important provision. State government on its own or on an application made by occupier has power to direct the different departments or branches of a factory may be treated separate factory, or 2 or more factories of the occupier may be treated as a single factory, or 2 or more factories of the occupier may be treated as a single factory. State government has this power. State government can do it suo moto. State government can do it suo moto on its own. अपने आप they can do so, or on an application. Sometime the occupier makes an application that these 2 factories of mine should be treated as a single factory, or these be treated as 2 different factories. So it is up to the or a unit division of the factory be treated as separate factory. So he can apply, and it is up to the state government what they do so. State government in case of public emergency, they may exempt any factory or class of factories from all or any of the provision of this act. They may exempt them, and but at a time they can exempt them for a maximum period of 3 months. Okay, not much important. As and when a new manager is appointed, as and when a new manager is appointed, the occupier is required to inform, to intimate to the inspector a written notice within 7 days from the date of such appointment. That sir, a new manager has been employed in the factory. So it is the duty of the occupier to inform, to intimate to the inspector of concerned area as is being declared for your factory. So every occupier is required to ensure the health, safety, welfare of all the workers. It is the duty of the occupier, I told you, to ensure health, safety, welfare of all the workers that are being employed in your factory. So now I'm coming to one practical condition जिसमें question आ सकता है आपके पास, that no adult worker shall be required or allowed to be work in a factory for more than 48 hours in any week. In a week maximum you can work for, no an adult worker will work for 48 hours in a factory and 9 hours per day, 9 hours per day. In case you are working for more than this, like you are working for more than 48 hours in a week time, or you are working for more than 9 hours per day, then you have the right to get the overtime payment. Then this is considered as overtime. Where a worker works in the factory for more than 9 hours in a day, 9 hours in a day, or for more than 48 hours in a week time, then he shall, in respect of the overtime, be paid overtime wages. And what are the overtime wages under the Factories Act? These are double the normal rate. These are twice his ordinary rate of wages. What we need to take under the definition of this wages, what we need to take in the definition of wages? Wages means basic wages, mool vetan, that is basic wages, plus such allowances. Basically, they need to take what? They need to take what? Sometimes some food benefits are given to the worker, concessional food benefits are given to workers. Like you are working in a milk plant. Okay. You are working in a milk plant where they may provide the facility. They may say that whosoever is working there, they will get the ghee, they will get the ghee at 300 rupees. In journal say they are selling the ghee at 500 to the public, okay, per kg, per you can say ki 1000 gram. So they are saying what? We are selling 1000 gram ghee at the rate of 500 per kg, 500 per kg. And to workers, we are offering them that they can have it at 300 rupee per kg, but they can have maximum 5 packets in a month. They can have 5 packets in a month, 5 packets in a month. Or these say this benefit is given to workers. This benefit is given to workers. So now you can quantify the benefit, that how much benefit is given to the worker. It is 200 per packet into 5 into 5. So basically it is 1000 rupees. It is 1000 rupees benefit. So this 1000 rupee will be taken. This 1000 rupee will be taken here in the meaning of wages, within the meaning of wages. Like basic salary, you need to take some allowances, and then any benefit, including the cash equivalent of the advantage. We have converted this advantage into cash equivalent, accruing through the concessional, that is accruing through the concessional sale to workers of food, grains and other articles as the worker is for the time being entitled to. इसको हमने लेना है. But what what will not be the components of this wages? We need not consider the bonus. We will not consider bonus. We will not consider the overtime wages. We will not consider the wages for overtime payment. Overtime payment, this thing we will not consider in wages. So the thing is, what we need to pay, if every adult worker, an adult worker is working, is if an adult worker is working in the factory for more than 48 hours in a week time, or more than 9 hours per day, then that person is entitled to, overtime allowance. That person is entitled to overtime payment. And what will be the overtime payment? It will be twice the normal wages. And what are the components of wages for this purpose? These are basic wages, plus allowances like daily allowance, and then we have what? The cash equivalent of the advantage that is accruing to the workers through concessional sale of goods, material, whatsoever is being given. Okay. But definitely what things we need not taken? We need not take this bonus and overtime wages. Now I'm coming to another aspect, that is where a worker is deprived of any weekly holidays. Like every worker is entitled to some sort of weekly holiday now. But if a worker is deprived of any weekly holiday, then it is the duty of the occupier, it is the duty of the employer to ensure that if we have say a worker is working 7 days in a week, then he shall be allowed within a month, within the same month, or say if that is not possible in that month, in the next month, or within 2 months immediately following that month, compensatory holiday of equal number of holidays so lost. Say na, so there is a lot of work in the factory. Factory is working 24 hours. Okay, factory is working at full shift with the full capacity. So at that moment, if a worker has worked more than this, then that person will be getting what? That he will be getting overtime wages. He will be getting overtime wages, but he is definitely working more than 48 hours in a week time. That may affect his health. So if he basically he has lost some of his holidays due to that, then he must be compensated for that. This is law saying कि compensatory holidays of equal number of days lost must be given to the worker either within the same month or maximum within 2 months after the month. Okay, this thing we need to understand. Then the period of work of adult workers in a factory each day shall be so fixed that at a stretch, they should work, their work should not exceed 5 hours. Okay, like a person is working in the factory at 8 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so he must get a break at 1 p.m. He must get break at 1 p.m. Reason being, he has already worked for 5 hours. He has already worked for 5 hours. Now you need to give him a break. That break will be of minimum, that will break will be of half an hour. So minimum. So like the person now will start work again at 1:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m. and then you can have him work for 4 hours. That is 5:30. At 5:30 he will leave the. By this, the person has practically worked what? He has 4 hours and 5 hours. That is, in total, he has worked 9 hours in a day. And if a person is working more than 9 hours, if a person is working more than 9 hours, say he is working till 7:30 p.m. So for these 2 hours, for excuse me, then for these 2 hours, you need to pay him overtime wages. Okay, overtime wages. This losses. Next, this act has provided the provision regarding earned leave. You must have heard about this concept of earned leave, or it is also called P leave, privilege leave, earned leave. What this says that every worker who has worked for a period of 240 days or more in a factory during a calendar year, say in a calendar year, you have worked for more than 240 days, 240 days or more in a factory. Then in the subsequent calendar year, you are entitled to, you have earned holidays. How much holidays you have earned? It says for an adult, 1 day for every 20 days of work performed by him during the previous calendar year. Okay, for every 20 days work, you will be getting one leave. For how many days say you have worked? Say you have worked for 300 days in a factory. So for 300 days, you will be getting 15 leaves. Okay, you will be getting 15 leaves because for 20 days, 1 day is leave for every 20 days. So for 20 days, we have one leave. And say a worker has worked for 300 days in a factory, then he will be getting what? 15 days leave for that. Okay, so don't write it in this manner like 15 days. Simply you write it according to the law that if an adult person has worked for more than 20 days in a 20 for every 20 days, the person will be getting 1 day leave. And in case of a child, I told you, no, even children can do work. If a child is of say 14 years or above, 14 completed 14 years of age or above, okay, still that person can do work in the factory. That is, there is no bar on that. So 1 day, now he will be getting more leave. He will be getting more leave. 1 day for every 15 days of work. For every 15 days of work that you have worked during the preceding year, during the previous year, now you will be getting what you will be getting. You have earned what? You have earned 1 leave. And this is a different thing. Like in case of female workers, they are entitled to what? Maternity leave for any number of days, not exceeding 12 weeks. So they are entitled to 12 weeks maternity leave during their pregnancy and delivery. So they may get maternity leave of say 12 months. They may get maternity leave of 12 months. Just a second, I need to see if you guys have any questions. This is a boring act, I know. Okay, so I can't make it much interesting. Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sir, which type of factories this act is applicable, sir? Lakshmi Priya, I told you, uh, if you are working with the aid of power and your factory is having 10 or more persons on any day during the preceding 12 months, then this will be applicable. It is applicable on all sort of factories. Okay. So there is a question. So question in the study material. Yes. Age of adolescent worker is 10, 14, 18, 21. What is the answer for this? देखो, uh, if a person has completed, no one is adolescent basically. Reason being, a person who complete work for an adolescent, it is basically age is 15 years completed, 15 years completed, but less than 18. So I think so you can tick C. You can tick C here, Ahira, but practically the answer should be below 18. Because if a person completes the 18 years of age, then practically that person becomes an adult. Okay. So an example for competent person, inspectors. So your video is stuck. Okay. Hazardous process once again, please. Hazardous, there may be some internet problem at your end. Okay, so hazardous process once again, please. I'll discuss it later on after we complete this session. I'll take this hazardous process with the what is aid of power. Okay, excuse me. Say if we are using, like I tell you, like I'm running a chartered accountant office. Okay, so what we are having, you can say this electricity, lighting, fan, AC, अपना printer, photostat machine. This thing we are having in our office, but this is not treated as run with power. Okay, this is not with the aid of power. It is treated as aid with electricity, not with power. We use the word power once the machines are run with power. Like you can say if some manufacturing activity is going on, okay, biscuits are being made, okay, bakery is going on, we are making clothes, some refining of oil is going on, and we are using machines over there. Basically, once the machines are being used, Ramam, for you can say with the aid of power by electricity, prime motive is going on. Power, then only we say that it is with the aid of power. Ankita, you will find the notes. Okay, you just message me. I'll send you the notes. Okay. So where can we find your notes? Yes. So which topic is going on? Poor net connection, Jyoti. Jyoti, we are studying the Factories Act 1948. Video post. Okay, can't do anything. I can't find case law in institute study material from where I get these case laws. I'll share, brother, but definitely you need to understand that there are case laws, and these help whenever you find a case study in the examination hall, and you will be able to better answer them once you are having the case laws. Aid of power means with the help of power. I told you, अंजलि, कि like एक तो हम रूटीन में अपने घर में अपने ऑफिस में हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी चलाकर बैठे हुए हैं, फैन भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से चल रहा है, लाइटिंग भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से हो रही है, एंड सेकेंडली there are some machines are going on and those machines are running with the help of electricity. So then we say aid of power. Okay, so what shall we find that case reference? They are not okay, not an issue. I told the answer aid of power I have explained. So in what way is better to answer the definition as exactly the section or self-explanation? Okay, but it is always better to try to write near the it is given in the book. Okay, you must have heard in the Three Idiot movie the definition of machine given by Chatur. ओके, सो देखो बुक में हमें जो मर्जी अच्छा लगे, प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में वी कैन से कि आमिर खान ने जो डेफिनेशन दी दैट इज इजी, that is easy, you may explain that, that is not an issue. But for getting good marks in the examination, as the teacher said in the movie, you always need to write near to the whatsoever is written in the book. Okay, how to learn all sections effectively? You need not learn all sections, brother. That's why I'm telling you, I can simply say to you that learn all sections, but I know the constraints that you guys will not be able to understand all the sections. That's why I told you that you stick to what? Few sections, but you need to learn them. Like they may always ask you the definition of factory, occupier, manufacturing process. So you need to learn sections for these definition, not for all, not for all. Okay, I have not even given in the notes. What is the many students are asking aid or power? I explain. Persons working in D-Mart will also be considered as worker if they are doing some sort of manufacturing activity. Definitely, if they are doing what, like I told you, I gave you an example. Na? I gave you an example like if you are getting the material in bulk, you are getting material in bulk. I have given a case law. Just a second, give me a time. Yes, yes. You are receiving products in bulk, you are receiving product in bulk and in packing and packing as per client requirement. If you are doing activities like this, then definitely it will be considered as a factory. So can I find case law in okay, okay. 12 months is equal to 3 months maternity leave almost. And why are you not responding my doubts? Which doubts, brother, you have? Earned leave is including weekly off. Yes, it included Mona Lisa. Then, sir, now because once you get the earned leave, na, it is taken generally at a stretch. Say, I'm telling you what happens. Just a second. Let me come to that. Okay, just a second. Yes. Say a person has earned 40 earned leave. You are having 40 earned leave in your account. Okay, in your leave account. In case of every employee, a leave account is being maintained. Say a leave account is maintained and you have earned in total 40 leaves till now. So you want now holiday for 10 days, okay, for 10 days. And your factory works on 6 days week. So Monday to Saturday, these are 6 days. Monday to Saturday, these are 6 days. And you want holiday for 10 days, 10 days. You can't say, ki, give me earned leave from Monday to Saturday. Then again, give me leave from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday to Thursday. You can't say like this. You can't say like this. Like what you want to do, you want to save your Sunday holiday. Sunday. You are saying it's already holiday, it's a weekly off. So don't consider it. They will not do it in this manner. They will not do it in this manner. They will say, if you are getting 10 days leave, if you are getting 10 days leave, then from Monday, then it will start from Monday. It will start from Monday and it will end on Wednesday. Okay, so by this 10 days will be counted. So weekly off, Sunday will also be included in it. That is the problem with the earned leave. It is taken in a stretch. Okay, in a stretch we calculate it. So just a second. So earned leave is including weekly off. So now maternity leave is 6 months, right? Uh, I'll check it. I think so. It is 12 weeks. For some states, they have increased it to 6 months, but otherwise it is 3 weeks, 12 weeks only. So when you will provide the notes, I'll provide the notes once you message me after the class. Whenever I'll be finding time, because the problem is that today I am having one more session at 5 to 7 for this the Gratuity Act 1972. So I'll be hardly having any time, but definitely I'll try after 7 p.m. If you send me an SMS, if you send me a message, WhatsApp message. Okay, so I'll add you, I'll send you the notes. Okay, so you will get the notes. We have 10 workers without aid of power. Okay, doing manufacturing process. So is it factory? No, because you are working without the aid of power and you are only 10 persons without the aid of power. We need to consider 20 or more persons. Okay, so it's not a factory. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh, yes. So where can we get notes? ठीक है. How to present the answer in exams? In last class, I told you about how to answer the case studies. So you can find it on the Institute YouTube channel. You can find my all videos over there. So please go through that because it takes a lot of time. Rasna, okay, sir. How to learn all sections? If I told you, you need not learn all sections. Okay, thank you. This act apply without aid. This act is applicable on all type of factories, na? In case you are working without the aid of power, then it will be 20 or more workers. If you are working with the aid of power, then it is 10 or more workers. Precincts means any, Shweta Pandit, it means basically precincts means a space that is embodied with walls. Walls must be there, na? So that is a place. How can I get writing notes? Okay, please. I'll share it, Lakshmi Priya. So you WhatsApp me. I'll send you the writing notes as well. Please share your. Today I have not made any make use of any writing notes. I'm writing on these notes itself, and I'll share the same notes with you guys. Please share your mobile number to getting notes. I have given below the notes. You can find it. It is 9814622848. Okay. So sick leave is different from earned. Definitely, it is different than earned leave. No, it is not as per Factories Act. So sick leave is different. Yes, it is not as per Factories Act. So if in exam we can't mention section, so we get good marks. ये वो क्वेश्चन है that you are putting me in dharm sankat. Okay, so definitely if a student is quoting sections, that guy is getting is to get very good marks. Okay, but every student can't learn all sections. So simply I am saying you need to learn sections for very important definition, very important sections. Otherwise, you guys simply need to learn the provision. Don't you can say ki run after this section game. Okay, number I have given. Please give important years. We will complete the whole syllabus in 13 sessions. I think so. Institute has increased the sessions now. So I'll be taking around 22 or 24 sessions in total for law, Rasna. So upload notes in I'll upload Sai. Maternity leave is for 26 weeks. Is it true? It is for 12 weeks as per my knowledge, but still, as being a labor law, and we people are not very involved in that. But as this, to be very frank, this act is not there in CA or CS syllabus. Okay, so whenever we are taking their classes, this act is not there. I have prepared it specially for you guys. So maternity leave is for 26 week or not. I'll check it and definitely report it. But otherwise, it is 12 weeks only. Okay, 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 okay. No, sir, I want to say that my earned leave will be 14 a year. Then is it including my, okay, you are saying ki days, if you are counting the days, So days 4, definitely the weekly off will be included in that. Weekly off will be treated as if you have worked in the factory. Okay. This thing we will cover in today's later session, that is 5 to 7 session, that is payment of gratuity act. Okay, you will cover it better over there. Mona Lisa, see you there. Okay, so please give me some tips to study theory effectively. I'm giving it on regular basis in all my classes. Okay, sir, I have not attended starting class, so could you please let me your WhatsApp number? ठीक है, I'll give. Okay, we will complete the whole syllabus in 13 session. Okay, sir. Okay, sir, is there any WhatsApp group of yours which you can get the notes? Anita, you WhatsApp me message. I'll send you all the notes. ठीक है. So, but definitely I'll send you once I get the time. Okay. So, but Institute is uploading all lectures. Really, that is with all praise to the Institute. They are uploading all lectures on YouTube channel. You guys can always go for that. Okay. So now I'm covering my leftover portion. So in order to safeguard the health of the worker, these are very important provisions actually. In order to safeguard the health of workers, every factory need to kept clean and free from effluvia that is arising from any drain, privy or other nuisance in a particular accumulation of dirt. Definitely, if we want health, if we want that workers should remain healthy, then definitely we need to keep our factory premises clean and free from effluvia. Effective arrangements shall be made in every factory for the treatment of waste. There may be some sort of waste or effluents that are being produced by the factory during the manufacturing process. So if there must be effective arrangement for that. Effective arrangement should be made in every factory for the treatment of waste and effluents. Effective and suitable provision shall be made in every factory for securing and maintaining in every workroom. Adequate ventilation must be there because workers are working there. They are spending most of their time there. They are working 8 hours, 9 hours in the office premises. You must get proper ventilation over there. Okay. They should not, there should be proper, you can say, ceiling over them. They should not, you can say, work in open. They should not work under direct sunlight. So these things should be there and such a temperature should be there so that it is reasonable for them to work under those conditions. No room in any factory shall be overcrowded. Like these days, we understand the importance of, you can say, this space, and we say that during the Corona period, COVID period, we guys understand that there should be social distancing. But earlier also, the Factories Act says that the room in every factory, no room in any factory should be overcrowded. Okay. So every part of the factory where workers are working or passing shall be provided with sufficient and suitable lighting that should be there. Workers are working over there. Okay, natural or artificial or both. ये हो सकता है, any lighting. If in any factory, in every factory, effective arrangement shall be made to provide at suitable points, conveniently situated for all workers employed therein, a sufficient supply of wholesome drinking water. Definitely, where the worker are working, they must get potable drinking water. They must be, it is the duty of the occupier to make these things available, make water available to everyone. In order to ensure safety of the workers, every dangerous part of the machinery should be securely fenced and constantly maintained to keep it in position. I told you, na, if you are working in a factory, say some part, अचानक से कोई पार्ट आकर आपके सर पे लगता है तो वर्कर की डेथ हो सकती है, वर्कर में get injuries. So therefore, every dangerous part of any machinery should be securely fenced and constantly maintained. No young person shall be required or allowed to work at any dangerous machine unless he has been fully instructed as to the danger arising from it and the precautions to be observed, as well as he has received sufficient training to operate that machine. Okay, young person, by young person I told you, by young person I mean children, and I mean adolescent. These are young person. No woman or child shall be employed in any part of the factory for pressing cotton in which curtain opener is at work. Okay, so you guys may have seen that where the curtain is being jinned. So ultimately it gets there in the you can say ki, breathing pipe, or it may cause some problems. So in every factory, every lift should be of good mechanical construction. Lift, if the lift is there, should be of good mechanical construction, sound material, adequate strength. It should be properly maintained. It should be thoroughly examined by the competent authority at least once in every 6 months. Once in every 6 months, you need to do that. Then no person shall be required or allowed to enter any chamber. Say worker, if the occupier or the manager of the factory or the supervisor says to a worker, you need to go into this, you need to go into this chamber. Okay, the worker may die over there due to suffocation or something else. So no person shall be required or allowed, should be required. No person, you will not instruct a worker to do so. And even if he wants to go, you will not allow him to enter into any chamber, tank, pit, pipe, or other confined place in any factory in which any gas, fume, vapor, dust is likely to be present. Okay, so because it may be hazardous to their health, है ना, तो इसलिए उनको आप नहीं भेजोगे to such an extent or as to involve risk to the workers, unless, yes, you can send them, unless it is provided with a manhole of adequate size. If the proper place is there, if we have provided him proper space, that where you can say ki he will not be affected by the gas, he will not be affected by the fume, he will not be affected by these things. So then definitely, if this means what the law says, adequate safety arrangement should be there. This the law says. Then law says that welfare activities, that there must be some welfare measures which the law has suggested for workers. So first thing is, every factory shall provide and maintain readily accessible first aid boxes. Your enterprise, your factory must have first aid boxes or cupboards that is equipped with prescribed contents, and the number of such boxes should be what? Kitna? It should be at least one, not less than one, not less than one for every 150 workers employed at any one time in the factory. Say if presently the 200 workers are working in your factory, then you need to have what? You need to have at least one. You need to have at least what? One first aid box or cupboard that must be equipped with the prescribed contents like medicine, bandage. So those things must be there. First aid box should be there. Basically, they are emphasizing on what? They are emphasizing on first aid box. It must be there. It should be 150, one for every 150 workers. We need to have one. We need to have at least one, minimum one. We need to have minimum one first aid box. Second, in every factory wherein more than 250 workers are ordinarily employed, a canteen or canteen shall be provided. Canteen or canteen shall be provided. If there are more than 250 workers working in your factory, then what you need to do? You need to have canteen for them. Na? They need some refreshment, they need some food, tea, snacks over there. So that must be provided. It is the duty of the occupier. It is the duty of the occupier to provide such facilities, and it is required to be maintained by the occupier as well. Okay, so whatsoever expenses are required to be incurred on that canteen, that will be that will be borne by the occupier of the factory. For every 250 workers, if you are having more than 250 workers, then you need to have canteen in your office, you need to have canteen in your factory. And in every factory wherein more than 150 workers are ordinarily employed, adequate and suitable shelter, restrooms, lunchroom with provision of drinking water where workers can eat meal. Up say your factory is employing less than 250 workers, then you will not be having the canteen. Not an issue. You are not having canteen because your enterprise, your factory is employing less than 250 workers. But if your enterprise is employing more than 150 workers, yes, you are employing more than 150 workers, then you need to provide them with, if you're not providing them with canteen, at least provide them with adequate and suitable shelter, Restrooms, washrooms must be there. Lunch room where they can sit. You have not provided them with the canteen space. What you can provide them some room where they can sit and take lunch with provision of drinking water. And that room must be having the facility of what? Drinking water, where workers can eat meal brought by them. Definitely, you are now not providing, the occupier is not providing them meals. He is not providing them the canteen facility. Now, workers will bring their own meal. They will bring their own meal. But what the occupier of the factory need to provide them? He need to provide them the room. He need to provide them the furniture. He need to provide them the drinking water. These things must be provided to the workers. In every factory wherein more than 30 women are working. Okay, so if women worker are working, then there will be small children as well, because small children generally remain with their mother. Okay, so say there is a child of 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 year. So they remains with their, where the women will leave their children. So for them, you need to have, for bigger factories, they say you need to have crèche facility. For otherwise, they are saying what, in every factory wherein more than 30 women workers are ordinarily employed, there shall be a suitable room, common room type. There should be a suitable room for the use of children under the age of 6 years. Okay, so this is 6 years. Up to the age of 6 years, the children may go there. Such rooms shall provide with adequate accommodation, lighting, ventilation, and these things will be there. These things should be there. Then in every factory where 1,000 or more workers are ordinarily employed, or where the state government is of the opinion that manufacturing process or operation use involve any risk of body injury, poisoning, disease, or any other hazard to the health, occupier to appoint such number of safety officers. What this law says, you need to employ safety officers if your enterprise is having more than 1,000, if your enterprise is having equal to or more than 1,000 number of workers, then this provision is applicable. Or otherwise, if the state government is of the opinion, is of the opinion that some hazardous, some activity is going on in your premises, that you need to have safety of officers in your enterprise. Every factory where 500 or more workers are only employed, such number of welfare officer, we need to employ welfare officer. These where we have in a factory more than or equal to 500 workers, then we need to have what? We need to have welfare officers in our factory. That law says. In every factory wherein more than 500 workers are again employed, an ambulance room with proper medical facilities under the charge of medical officer or other, you can say nursing staff to be maintained. So these facilities. So now you guys will be able to understand why this Factories Act 1948 is there. This act is providing for that workers are working in factory and they are spending most of the time here there. So they should be provided with ventilated rooms, proper lighting should be there, proper air should be there. They should be provided with adequate drinking water. They should be provided with safe conditions, safe working conditions. So this thing, the law is saying. They should be provided with adequate leave. No worker should work at a stretch for more than 9 hours, or they should work for more than 48 hours in a week's time. And in case those people are doing, they must be rewarded for that. They must get the benefit for that in terms of overtime payment. In terms of overtime, every DC, district magistrate, is also the inspector of the district. He is whatsoever factories you have in your, if you are DC, if you are deputy commissioner, if you are district magistrate, and whatsoever factories are there in your district, you are automatically the inspector of those factories. And you can anytime visit, within reasonable time, you can visit over those factories and check whether the working conditions are properly, safety conditions are properly maintained or not. State government may appoint persons having prescribed qualification as inspector for this act. State government may appoint inspectors. Every inspector that has been appointed by the state government has power to enter. What are the powers of? Basically, they now it is on powers of inspectors. It is power of inspectors that has been appointed under this act. What are its powers? Every inspector appointed by the state government has power to enter any place, make examination of the premises, inquire into accident, dangerous occurrence, requires production of the prescribed document, register. He can check whether the prescribed registers are being maintained, updated. He can seize some document, copies of any record, register, like say an accident has taken place in a factory. Okay. So now what the occupier of the factory may do, that a person has died, but occupier doesn't want to pay compensation to the person. He may remove his name from the register. So what the occupier, what the inspector can do, he can take those register, he can take photocopies of those register, he can take those registers in his custody. So these powers are available with the inspectors. Then inspector appointed by the state government has no power to compel any person to answer any question. Definitely, okay, they can ask, but it is up to the person they want to answer or not. Okay, or give any evidence tending to incriminate him. You need not do that. Chief inspector appointed by the state government of this act recognizes a person or as an institution as a competent person. I told you what is competent person. Like they may take the help of competent person, they may appoint some person for doing this testing job, for the examination of the records they may appoint. And then chapter 3 of the act deals with provision regarding health conditions, welfare conditions, safety of the workers, how by what manner we can ensure safety. No adult worker can be allowed to be work more than 48 hours in a week's time. I told you, if they are working, then you need to pay them overtime wages. No adult worker can be allowed to work more than 9 hours in a day. If they are working, you need to pay them overtime wages, and that will be twice the normal wages. And meaning of components of wages, I told you, that is basic wages plus allowances plus any cash equivalent of the any benefit in terms of koi concessional food benefit that they are getting. The manager of every factory is required to maintain a register of adult worker. They also need to maintain a register of adolescents, the register of child worker, register of young workers. They need to maintain it, which shall be available to the inspector at all time during working hours and when any work is being carried on in factory. A child who has not completed 14 years of age is not allowed to work in a factory. That it is the duty of the occupier. It is the duty of the occupier to see that no person, no child below the age of 14 years is working in his factory. In case it is found, then there are many laws under which he can be punished for that. Factories Act is definitely against it, but there are other laws as well. So a child worker who has completed 14 years of age, say you have completed 14 years of age, or an adolescent is allowed or required to work in a factory. Yes, you can do work in a factory if you have completed 14 years of age. Okay, say you are not 14 years of age, but not adult. Okay, so this means less than 18 years. 14 years of age, you have attained the age of 14 years or above. Okay, but less than your age is what? Your age is, just a second, your age should be greater than or equal to 14 years. And again, your age is say less than 18 years. In that case, also you can work in the factory, but there are different rules for that. Like only when the manager of the factory is having a certificate of fitness, he need to now get a certificate of fitness that you are fit and can be employed on the job. Okay, the certificate of fitness will be granted to the child or the adolescent worker, and he will keep it is in custody. Manager of the factory need to keep it in his custody, and a token will be carried by the child or the adolescent. By that, you can easily link that this is worker number 24, and 24 number record is available with the manager of the factory, and 24 token is available with the say Raju. So Raju is a child that is working in a factory. So then you can say this basic record is required to be maintained. No child worker can be employed below the, I told you, no child worker that is 14 years and above. This means they can work in the factory, na? They can work. No child worker can be employed or permitted to work in a factory for more than 4.5 hours in any day and during night. So for a normal worker, we studied they can work for 9 hours in a day, but for a children that is 14 years and above, but not an adult, they can work for 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours in any day. Inspector may require examination of the young person. Once I told young person means again the children and the adolescents. If they are working in the factory, inspector has the right, he may send those persons for medical examination to check whether those persons are in reality fit to be employed for the job or not. Okay. And every adult worker who has worked for at least 250 days in a calendar year in the factory, I told you they will be getting the leave, earned leave. They have earned leave, and that leave will be 1 day leave for every 20 days of work performed during the previous calendar year. And every child worker who has worked for at least 250 days in a calendar year in a factory, they will be allowed one leave for every 15 days, I told. And if in any factory, any dangerous occurrence take place, whether any bodily injury or disability is caused or not, manager of the factory is required to send its notice immediately to the concerned authorities. Like he need to inform the inspector of the concerned area that a dangerous occurrence has taken place in the factory, and this is the fatal, this thing has happened, and these are the workers which has been affected by them, and he need to intimate to the factory inspector. Every worker has a right to represent to the inspector directly. If a worker want to say, if a worker has a right, if a worker has to say something to the inspector, he may say so. And through his representative, his advocate can also represent to the inspector in the matter of inadequate provision of protection for his health. They may represent that we are not getting proper facilities, we are not getting proper safety standards in the industry, in the factory. They may intimate this to the, you can say, inspector. If in any factory, any worker contact any disease, if a worker has contact any disease, the manager of the factory is required to send notice thereof to the concerned authorities. He need to inform to the concerned authority that one of this worker has got this communicable disease, then he need to inform it to the concerned authorities. A court can take cognizance of an offence under this act only on a complaint by or with the previous approval in writing of an inspector. So by this manner, they have given wide power to the inspectors. So if you want to file a case, then you need approval of the inspector. No court below that of the presidency magistrate or magistrate of first class shall try any offence. Central government has power to give direction to state government as to carrying on into execution any provision of this act. How to execute provision of this act? If some instructions are required to be given by the central government, they can give it to the state government. The provision of this act are equally applicable to the factories of the central state government unless otherwise exempted. Now, the last thing is that is offences and penalties given under this act. So any contravention of the provision of this act by occupier or the manager of the factory, then what is the provision? What is the penalty for that? It is imprisonment up to 2 years or fine up to 1 lakh or both. This thing can be imposed on the occupier. This can be imposed on the occupier or the manager if they have not complied with, if they have made contravention to the provision of this act. Contravention is continued even after conviction. Say you have been convicted, but still you are again continuing the contravention. This means आप सुन ही नहीं रहे हो, आपको problem, you have been proven guilty, ठीक है? Even after conviction, you are continuing with the contravention. So then at the rate of 10,000 rupees per day, contravention of any of the provision that resulted in accident causing death. Okay, so you are making contravention of some safety standards, and due to that an accident has occurred, an accident has resulted in the factory that has caused death of some person, then fine will it shall not be less than 25,000. And say bodily injury, then fine shall not be less than 5,000 rupees. Penalty for obstructing inspector. If you are obstructing the inspector, then there is provision of, there is imprisonment of up to 6 months or fine that is up to 10,000 rupees or both. And then we have penalty for contravention of the provision of, you need not learn these sections. Then workers contravenes any provision of this act. If the workers are contravening any provision of this act, then the penalty is up to 50,000 rupees. Penalty for using false certificate of fitness. A person is not fit, but employer gets a false certificate of fitness and that person is employed in the factory. Then there is imprisonment. Then there is penalty of imprisonment up to 2 years or fine up to 1,000 or both. And penalty for permitting double employment of the children. If you are employing children in your factory and they are permitting double employment, like they are working for 9 hours or they are working in different factory. In one factory, they are working for 4.5 hours and in the other factory, they are working for 4.5 hours. Again, then the penalties of 1,000 rupees. So these penalties are not important for you guys. You need not worry about them. Okay, what these penalties are. Okay, so simply you need to learn these two penalties. Okay, not more than that. And then one penalty for obstructing the inspector. That's all. Rest of penalties are not required to be learned by you. And that's all for this Factories Act 1948. Now again, we can go through whatsoever you guys were asking. Like someone asked the question regarding hazardous. What we mean by this hazardous process. So I'm explaining it again. Just a second. Yes. Hazardous process means what? Means any process, means any activity in relation to the industries that are specified in first schedule. Some hazard types of industries has been specified in the first schedule, where if you are not taking adequate due care, okay, like you are working in a coal mine and you are not using proper, you are working in a coal mine, gas site or oil exploration site, where say you are not where proper you can say give special care. If special care is not taken by you, if proper safety standards are not exercised, then raw material that is being used there, intermediate goods being used there, finished goods that are being used there, byproduct, waste, effluents, these things are arising. वहां से ऐसा कुछ निकल रहा है, वहां कुछ ऐसे एफ्लुएंट्स हो रहे हैं, वहां कुछ ऐसी प्रोडक्ट्स यूज की जा रही हैं कि अगर आपने प्रॉपर सेफ्टी कंडीशंस यूज नहीं करी, स्पेशल केयर एक्सरसाइज नहीं करी, then some event some may happen which may cause loss of life, which may cause loss of health, which may to the workers. So that's, or which may result in pollution of the general environment. So that's why it is called a hazardous process. Hazardous process. So yes, yes. I have selected, I have searched on Google. It is 12 weeks only. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, sir, we will have online class after 1st Feb. Yes, we will have. I think so. Now I'll be having most of my classes on weekend. That is on Saturdays. Every Saturday I'll be having class from 2 to 4. Okay, for law and for audit. I think so. Some other time may be allotted to me. Otherwise, now on we will be having one weekly class, and that will be on every Saturday from, you can say, 2 to 4. Okay. But institute will share the complete schedule with you guys, okay, on the website. So 12 weeks. So please share the WhatsApp number. Gunjan Singh, it is written in the written below my notes. That is 98146 22848. 9898. Just a second. I'll write it down for you guys. 98146 22848. But I told you guys, I don't take any calls on this number. Okay, so if you simply, you can message me, WhatsApp me, and I'll try to reply as far as possible. Social distancing, yes. So how to get your notes? You will get it. Please let us know for which definition we need to learn sections, sir. Definitely, Lakshmi Priya, I am telling you what sections you guys need to learn. You need to learn the section of, all these definitions are contained in section 2. First of all, okay, you need to learn section of factory, that is 2m. 2m. This is definition of factory. 2m. 2m. Then we have 2k manufacturing process. 2k. 2k. And then we have occupier 2n. Occupier 2n. Occupier 2n. So these three definition section you guys need to learn first of all, and then simple these provision, that these are the important provision that you need to understand. The most important one is regarding overtime, that how the overtime payment is made, regarding earned leave, how the earned leaves are available to the workers, in what proportion those are available, that you need to study. And then these are general condition, what safety standards are there, what safety conditions are there to safeguard the health of the worker, and what welfare conditions are there that I told you, like you must have the first aid box for every 150 persons. You need to have canteen in your factory if you are employing more than 250 workers. If you need to have, you can say lunch room in your factory if you have more than 150 workers. And in case you are employing 30 or more than 30 women workers in your factory, then you need to provide them with a suitable room for the use of children under the age of 6 years. Then in case your factory is employing more than 1000 workers, then your factory need to have safety officers. In case your factory is employing more than 500 workers, then you need to have welfare officer. In your factory, if your factory is having more than 500 workers, then you need to have medical ambulance room with proper medical facilities like medical officer, nurses, you need to have. Okay, so these were the things that you guys need to learn. And foreign children, they can work for maximum 4.5 hours in a day. Okay, so these are the main things, main aspects that you guys need to learn. So that's all for today. I'll see if some other doubts are there, I'll take. Otherwise, we will wind up the session. So if some factory don't follow this set, then definitely, Isha, they will be facing the consequences like this. I have told you about the offenses and penalties. So if they are doing some offenses, they will be facing the consequences. Okay. So please give important question. I've told you the important questions. Okay. So occupier and manager almost same. Okay. Can the child worker do overtime? No, they can't do. A child whose age more than 14, their child labor is legal in factory. Basically, they are not treated. Child labor applies up to 14 years only. Okay. So if you are employing persons that are more than 14 years of age, practically they can be employed in the factory for 4.5 hours. Notes I'll send. So certificate can be revoked. Yes, it can be. What are the liabilities of occupier? I told you about the obligations of the occupier, that he need to ensure the safety conditions. He need to ensure that rooms be ventilated. There should be proper lighting. There should be facility of all sort of facilities are required to be arranged by the occupier. If any contravention takes place now, the first person that will be under problem, that person will be liable, that will be the occupier. Please explain encashment of leave. Encashment of leave is practically a journal concept, that how a leave can be encashed. So like you see the provisions, important provision in this case are of the, you can say, general central government leave rules, but those provisions are applicable to central government employees. But it differs from enterprise to enterprise, how the provisions of encashment of leave will apply. Okay. So next, बहुत ही मजा आ गया सर ने पढ़ाने में, आप बहुत ही अच्छा, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर. फ्रॉम बेटा, in reality this is a boring act, I am telling you. Okay, Factories Act 1948 is not an interesting act. You are saying कि मजा आ गया, but I am telling you it's a boring act. So from where I'll share the notes. You WhatsApp me the your number. I'll share you the notes. Okay. So what is encashment of leave? I told. What if the workers are not provided any safety? So what the workers can do about this? They can inform the inspector. I told you they have the right. They have the very right that they can directly communicate with the inspector, or they can hire some person to represent them. Every worker has been provided right. Every worker has right to represent to the inspector directly or through his representative in the matter of inadequate provision for protection of his health. They can say, okay, these health facilities are we are working in conditions which are dangerous to our health. Okay, they are working in conditions which are not safe, so they can inform to the inspector, and to obtain information in the factory, to obtain information from the occupier, and then the inspector will inquire from the occupier to check why these facilities have not been provided to the workers. Okay. What is certified surgeons? Certified surgeon, basically, once we send a person for medical examination, that whether the person is fit or not fit for the job or not. Inspector may send some person, say some children are working in the factory, and employer is saying they are 50, they are of 15 years or 16 years, but it appears to the inspector that the persons are of below 14. So then he can send the persons for medical examinations. So then it is they will get the certificate from the certified surgeons that whether the persons are fit for job or not. So what is the difference between safety officers and welfare officers? Safety officers are basically to ensure the safety of the workers during the running of the factory. Like they will see that I told you, like machines are properly all dangerous machines are properly fastened, okay, and they are properly checked or not. Okay, in welfare officers, they will do the activities like whether the crèche is being maintained or not, whether the lunch room is being available or not, whether the portable drinking water is made available to the workers or not, ventilation is there or not, lighting is there or not, general welfare conditions. Sayyid, then may I get your notes? You will get. Thank you, thank you. What are the liabilities of the occupier? I told you. अगर कोई बच्चा जिसका उम्र 15 साल है, वो वो क्या कोई दुकान में काम कर सकता है? यस, कर सकता है जी. ओके, कर सकता है. So if they ask any question, write answer using provision, then how to write? Definitely you have studied the provisions. You can quote them. Okay. So please explain what is crutch. Crutch is like where the in big you can say ki where big establishments where the workers are working. So they have the facility like for women work, even not for even women, for males as well. If you are having a say, I have two children. One is of 2 years, another is of 2.5 years or 3 years, another is of 3 years. Say, my wife is working, I am working, where I'll keep my children? And Hana, where I'll keep my children? So for that, crutch facility should also be there. There are other rules for that. So I hope Raju, Kaju, and Taju are doing good. Yes, Yashoda, they are going good. Kindly give 5 minutes break for 5 minutes in between. Okay, I'll do it in next lectures. Definitely, Yashoda. And explain inspector. Inspector is appointed under the Factories Act by the government of India, state government. Class was interesting, but hard to sit for 2 hours continuously. Yes, I understand. Thank you. So share the note Telegram group. People will share, sir. I'm not having the link. So you just WhatsApp me, Saurabh. I'll send you the notes, or I'll add you the Telegram group. So this is very useful for those who want to run factory in future, maybe. So may I have any notes or study? You will get it. Sir, here inspector means the police. No, 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 no police inspector, brother. Definitely not. Definitely not. It is the inspector appointed by the state government to inspect the factories. Okay, it is inspector appointed by the state government. The state government is maintaining the inspector of factories. So share the notes. Yes, I'll share, sir. So what happens when inspector act in favor of manager of the factory? Sir, ये इसका आंसर आप मेरे से बेटर जानते हैं. स्पिटन्स होते हैं जैसे थूकने के लिए थूकदान. Okay, so that should be there. Spittons. Okay. So you have explained every bit so well. Thank you, sir. So please, one more your WhatsApp number. Sir, I have told you, sir, it is 98 It is 9814622848. Your institute is really doing well, believe me. Okay, so other institutes are not providing these facilities to their students. I have so much praise for your institute, but because live classes are being provided to every student. Okay, very good. So may I have your notes? You will get it, sir. Okay. So I have covered all the doubt sessions. So now the session is all complete. So Sanjeev, sir, may I leave now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Wonderful session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Son, I have one more session at 5 today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, then see you at 5 o'clock, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you, student.